It is 9:15. Okay, I think I got everybody, and I'm recording. So remember, this recording will be available after class on the link. Let me scroll down here, right there. The live class link underneath, recording of today's class. And actually, the videos, I just did them for this quiz, so they're new, and it's what I'm going to show you now, so they're just as good. And I actually go through all the problems because I think I needed to. All right, a couple comments. If you need to get your quiz done, please do it before you go away for break. And as we are going along this year, so I have to talk about this all the time. So let's say you got a 35 out of 35 on the main part of the quiz, and then a 7-10 out of 10 on the spiral part. Remember, that's now optional. So all of these different quiz scores and then the spiral score, they weigh equally. So with just one score in the spiral bin, there's going to be a lot more scores in there. If this is what you got, then your average is a B. So that bin is taken out. So I always encourage people to retake the spiral. It's just 2 problems. Sometimes it's 3 or 4, but most of the time it's 2. And to get it right, study, it's 2 problems. How hard is it to study 2 problems? Get it right and do the retake. All right, so I'm going to encourage you to take your math vitamins. The good news on this next unit is that you don't need any technology other than a calculator to do simple computations, and that's it. And maybe highlight this stuff on your page of notes. I changed the language a little bit over here. It's no big deal. The language that you have is fine, but I'm persnickety in my work, so that's what I do. But I think the best thing is watching the videos and what I do with this, and then following to the letter what I do. And then when we get back from break, hopefully we're face to face. That week, I think it's Thursday, is the quiz over this. So, all right, here we go. So what we're doing is we are dealing with what are called function transformations. And to kind of give you an oversimplified approach, let's just start with a real simple one. Let's say we wanted to take the function y equals x and slide it 3 units to the right on the coordinate plane. So if we had the point 2,2, that would be on y equals x. It would go to the point 5,2. But notice for the point 5,2 to be true, the function goes to y equals x minus 3, which is opposite from the description. This is the description here. X goes to x plus 3. And this is going to be the whole idea with these t-tables, is that we are going to write down what I call the transformation on one side. Now, you don't need to write that word out every time. You can just put T, but write it out once so you know. And then you can just do that. All right, so transformation from the problem, and then what the substitution would be. So if we translate 3 units to the right, that's just what I talked about. This is the transformation. So all the x coordinates would go to x plus 3. But the substitution has to be the inverse. And here's the rule. So if it's, x plus something or y plus something, that deals with translations, or x minus something, y minus something, you just change the sign. And when you substitute in for x, there's simplification. And when you substitute in for y, they're solving for y. Okay, 4 units down. That's 4 units down. But we're going to substitute in y plus 4 for y, and then we're going to solve for y. Followed by a vertical stretch by a factor of 4. So vertical's up and down, which is the y direction. And if you get, confused, am I dealing with x or y here? Just come back here to your trusty notes and somewhere it's on there. I mean, if you get stuck. So a vertical stretch by a factor of 4. And so what we're going to substitute in for is 1/4 y for y. So the inverse when you're multiplying, so it's going to be multiply when you see the word factor. That's the giveaway. It's the reciprocal that goes in. So now I encourage you to, I didn't do this in the video. We want to ignore the transformation side. It's part of figuring out the substitution, but don't look at it anymore. You want to look at the substitution column. So we start with 3x minus 2, and then in for x is going to go x minus 3. And then we must simplify. So when you're working on the x side, you're going to simplify. So minus 9 minus 2. You can do that mentally. Then y plus 4 in for y, and then we have to solve for y. That would involve subtracting 4 over. That you can do mentally. Some of it is much harder work than what you're seeing right now, and you'll see that as they move on. Then 1/4 y in for y. And we got to solve for y, and we'll be done. Well, what is that going to look like? That's going to look like this, multiplying by 4, left to right, across the way. So y is 12x minus 60. And that's it. So this is what we're going to be doing. And the start's either going to be a description, or you'll see graphs. So you'll see a first graph, a second graph, and a third graph. And with the graphs, we're just going to do the slidings. We're not going to do the factor stretching and compressing. So the graphs will be a little easier, actually. And then the in-between assignment between this first and third one is going to be just practicing algebra like this. All right, I'm going to see if I, by 35, can't get through 4 of these. I'll probably be pressed for a little bit of time. Reflected across the x-axis, so that's new, but we're going to write down across x. And then what happens is you replace the opposite variable with the opposite variable with the opposite. So negative y will go in for y, and then we'll solve for y. 2, stretch horizontally by a factor of 3. So that's x. And so now we take the reciprocal, 1/3 x will go in for x, and we'll simplify after that. And then step 3, translate 4 units to the right. So that's x. And so x minus 4 will go in for x, and then we'll also simplify. So we have 3 things to do, starting with the square root of x. So negative y in for y, and we'll simplify. That's really easy to do, by the way. You just take the negative to the other side. 1/3 x for x. That's it. There's no simplifying, which is rare, actually, after an x substitution. Then x minus 4 in for x. Again, that's what this will look like. This. Got to use parentheses. And then what you can do to simplify is multiply the 1/3 through. I probably would not mark this wrong if you got that far, because sometimes a simplification is optional. I mean, both of these are correct. So I tend to be specific on the quiz with what I want you to do. All right, 10 minutes. Can I do it? Problem 3 is, it's a monster. You won't get anything like this on the quiz, but this is really a very good measure of, can you do this? And can you get all the different simplifications down that need to be gotten down? Translate 3 units right and 4 units down. So 3 units to the right and 4 units down. So x minus 3 will go in for x, and then y plus 4 will go in for y. And then followed by a horizontal compression by a factor of 1/2. So horizontal is x. So this is multiplication. And then where we go 2x or x. So anytime you see the word factor, you have the multiplication set up coming in. Okay, so that's the giveaway that's going in. So we got a lot of stuff to do here. Remember, you're ignoring this now. Excuse me. And this is going to test your ability to do the FOIL product, to simplify, to solve for y, all that business. So negative x in for x, what is that going to look like? So that's negative x in for x. And then we have to simplify. So negative x squared is just x squared. How's that possible? Well, negative x times negative x is positive x squared. All right, so second thing, x minus 3 in for x. And so if you have 2 translations in a row, you can actually do those together in the same line. But they have to be consecutive in the statement. So there's the substitution for 2 and 3. And so notice on the right side, you got some work to do. You got a FOIL product to do, you got to run the -5 through, and then we got to subtract the 4 over. So what is this going to look like? So I am going to do that FOIL product out, x minus 3 times x minus 3. Don't say x squared plus 9. Write it out if you have to, like this. You're never, ever going to get that from a FOIL product. You might get x squared minus 9, but coming out of a squared, you're going to have a middle term. This whole quiz, expect that when you do the FOIL, because it's going to be the same thing twice, so you're going to get a middle term. So minus 5x plus 15 minus 3. And now we got to multiply the 2 through, run the 4 to the other side. And then we have one more thing to do. So 2x squared minus 12x minus 5x. We got to combine, after I run the 2 through, I got to combine it with minus 5. That's minus 17. And then 2 times 9 is 18. And then I got to do plus 15, that's 33. And minus 3, that's 30. But then the 4 gets subtracted over. 30 minus 4 plus 26. And we are not done. Like I said, this problem is a great problem to look at and to do, because it really gets at everything that you need to do or that could be done. So now 2x goes in for x, and you got to simplify, and then we'll be done. So 2x squared is 4x squared times 2 is 8x squared minus 34x plus 26. And that indeed is correct. Okay, we've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to do one more. The video over this, I go through all the problems. So you should do a few here and there just to sharpen your skills with. And get to the other two assignments. The one in the middle is just kind of algebra practice with this. Problems that are given in a way that you end up having this. It's just the translation's not stated is all. And then the third one is doing this with graphing. So you're still going to have a transformation substitution table to do, but you're looking at the graph. But if you watch the videos, I did them recently, and it should be easy to follow. Translate it 5 units up. So we've got that. So we're going to do y minus 5 for y, followed by a vertical compression by a factor of 1/3. So vertical is y again. So number 3y and for y. So we've got 2 solvings for y that we need to do, and a horizontal stretching by a factor of 2. So 1/2 x goes in for x, and then we simplify. Okay, here we go. So we start with this. Don't so much worry about the functions. I mean, these are functions we haven't really studied yet. Now you're ignoring that, remember. So y minus 5, just worry about the algebra steps, then we have to solve for y. Anytime you replace for y, you have to solve for y. So 3y goes in. Now, if you want to divide the whole thing by 3, I think that would probably make more sense. I said 1/3 in my answer key, 1/3 plus 5/3, but if you want to do that, that's fine. Then 1/2 x in for x and do any simplifying, which you actually can't. So what I said in my answer key was this. Either way. Okay, so there's the first 4 problems on this, and you can see that, you know, these go on and on with what you need to do. Try them, pull ahead to the video where you need to. Again, I go through all of them. And this middle assignment is just practice with like the notation, but it ends up being the algebra. When you do it, you can watch the video. And then the third assignment is you're still doing this table here with graphs. So you figure from 1 to 2, what happened? Well, I went 3 to the right and 6 up. So 3 to the right and 6 up. So that's the from 1 to 2. And then from 2 to 3, I reflected about x. So it's just figure it out from the graph. And then go to your substitution. So this would be x minus 3 for x. This would be y minus 6 for y. And this would be negative y for y. And I'm running out of time, but I just wanted to say this is the same thing. And then you just start with x squared, whatever that parent function is. And then you do all the work. So we'll get to this the week we get back, but it is all the same material, the first and the third assignment. The assignment in the middle is just practice with the kind of algebra that is involved in this. All right, it is almost 35, so I'll wish you all a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we're back after break, but I wouldn't count on it.